Okay, we found the keys here. These are the ones. This is the section that's not working. And look at that. It is nasty. Hold on. So I'm gonna clean this up. Let's see. These come off. Just wiggle them back and forth, and then push on these with your other hand as you're wiggling back and forth. And I'll push those out, and it comes off really easily. This comes off real nice as is. So alright, so we got that off. We gotta clean it. Oh, look, see, it's supposed to be like this, and it looks like that. I'm gonna inspect this to make sure none of these traces are broken. Man, this thing doesn't zoom very well. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we can see. You can see clean ones, dirty ones. Now the rest of this stuff, this coloration here, I think that might be conformal coating. Not too sure, but it seems to be across the entire board. Like all the way down here to these ones, you can see there's some kind of conformal coating as well. Alright, I'll get those cleaned up. I'll let you know how they come out. Okay, here's the last key I need to fix. It's a D towards the center, and I can see already there's a whole bunch of crap on it. So something, water or the cat maybe, something leaked through the keyboard onto this circuit board. Luckily enough, this was easy to get to. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely clean this up. Okay, real quick here, we're going to go over a couple of things on the keyboard. This is in my Ensoniq. I have it kind of all apart. I have the back plate off and the motherboard loose, and then the keyboard inputs off. This one is getting put back in. Not going to do a reassembly video because they're getting ready to do some CNC cutting here soon. So here we go. Looks like back plate comes off just with all the screws from the back plate. You undo all those. Comes right off. Everything else seems to stay pretty well solid. To get the keyboard input boards, all I had to remove was this one bracket. That comes off. And then on the other side, I just had to loosen up the motherboard. Has 3 or 4 screws on the top, and then there's these 3 clips on the bottom. Let me show you those. These are the ones you just squeeze them and they pop loose. There's 3 of them. The motherboard can then just flip over after disconnecting the power cord, and the power cord is a simple clip. It just goes right on and off. You don't have to do anything funny with it. The input boards themselves are very tricky. Like this one pulled apart, that little pink or orange reddish thingy is supposed to stay in the circuit board, but you have to use a very fine prick. This one's a little too thick, but I was able to get them off without breaking all of them, just the one. You probably want like a 10mm prick, and it actually states that on the board. So if you want to remove the whole key assembly, there's these bolts here in this channel on the aluminum. There's like, let's see, 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. You undo those, and the keys will actually drop down. And then there's like 2 here that come off that bracket that I took off. Those hold the back side. So those are all for the front of the keys. There's these 2 for the back, and then there's these 2 for the back, and then there's these 2 for the back. But these 2 are already off because they were attached to the plate. So all of those should release the keys. Of course, you'll have to pop these off. There's 2 of them for a lower board, or lower octaves, and then the higher octaves. Oh, wait, no. Those are the high, those are the low. No, wait, yeah, those are the low, those are high. Upside down, right side up. Other than that, this piece right here, not even gonna look at taking it out. I don't need to. Looks like just these screws on the front might remove this piece. So hope that answers some questions. If you want to take yours apart or put it together, there's this thingy here. It's like a little bag. I bet that's where the weights are. Not gonna play with that. Don't need to really remove the keys, so I found where the damage was. Hopefully my repair work with the traces will come in handy. Let me show you those. Oh, you're not going to be able to see them because they're underneath that little rubber thingy. But alright, I'm going to get this guy back together and see how it sounds. Okay. Alright, while I'm here and I have this all apart, I figured I'd go all 8-bit guy on you and do a little overview of this CPU board for the Ensoniq ZR76. Right off the bat, I noticed that we have these like 8088 style processor with some RAM and a EEPROM. And looking at these, did not find anything on the MX chip. It's made by Ensoniq, so there's a good chance that there's not a whole lot of data out there for it. The next one, it says DM-ROM, which a ROM chip right next to a RAM chip sounds, or a CPU sounds kind of obvious. But when I looked it up, it came up as a digital to analog converter. Kind of weird for a digital to analog converter to be right next to the processor, but okay, that's how it goes. This one looks like an EEPROM. Didn't look it up, but oh well, it's probably got some firmware on there. That's probably like the actual it's probably the actual operating system for the Ensoniq. This one here, the DT7130, comes up as a static RAM. So, okay, it's static RAM, and there's a whole bunch of chips here, which look like they might be RAM chips. NEC Japan is the number. That's not the number. D43256BGU. So those are probably the RAM chips, and that's probably the controller for it. This little chip here then is a Ensoniq brand chip, ESP2A. Comes up as a effects processor chip. Which sounds about right for a synthesizer. This Ensoniq 13800000201 chip comes up as a processing chip. So you got a processor here and a processor there by the looks of it. So could be correct, could have multiple processors. This little guy here is actually a Motorola chip, the 68340 family. It comes up as like a Coldfire or a 68K, and this is a 32-bit processor. And these, if I remember correctly, can be customized for different things. Like you can actually program this kind of like an FPGA, I think. Could be wrong, but it looks like this guy is controlling all this stuff here, which looks like RAM or ROM, and it's also Ensoniq brand as well. We didn't find anything on these two guys. They're both Otto chips, OTTOR2C chips. Look like they might actually be doing like a generalized bus controller like a Northbridge chip would do.